Tires. We're gonna talk tires this time. Which tires is better for your X5? And does it matter? Alright guys, if you're new to the channel, my name is Eddie. This channel is about BMWs, about cars in general. But if you like anything you see, consider checking out my other videos. And if you want to, it's your choice. Think about subscribing. The reason I bring this topic up because I've been researching a lot on tires. More for the M3 because I have been debating on getting new tires for it. And I'm trying to decide if I want the Star tires or if I should try something else. I'm trying to find something, a good compromise between street and track. But with that aside, what if you have an X5? All right. Most people with these, say if it's not an M and if you're just driving an X5, doesn't matter. Can you just get a normal tire? Do you have to get a high performance tire? So let's discuss this. Yes, because it matters as far as maintaining the performance of your vehicle. Now, these cars are engineered for handling, for drive, for steering feel. And when you put a tire on here that somewhat compromises it, you're kind of doing a disservice to the car and to the brand. You're not going to get the same feel depending on the tires. I'm not saying you need to go out here and buy Michelin Super Sports for your X5 40i that your wife drives just to the grocery store and back. I'm not saying that. But I'm going to say no when it comes down to run flats if you don't want to do it. You know, run flats are expensive. If you don't want to do that, you don't have to do that. But there's other brands out there. There's other options. You don't have to do that. And I'm seeing a lot of these Chinese tires popping up, and they are mimicking the tread of these tires, and people are falling for the low price. And I say this because I get it. There are a lot of people out there who are trying to save money, and I'm not going to say, you know, spend $1,000 on tires or don't buy BMW. I'm going to say that there are other options out there without dropping as low as a Chinese tire, a no-name brand. It's important. It's extremely important because this is what your car is riding on. This is what your car is designed to drive on. When you do this, and I know I keep saying this, I'm not talking about the speed. I'm not talking about taking these cars on the Autobahn and having the high performance stuff. What I'm referring to, I'm talking about the safety. The safety of the tires is what's important. If you have to stop your car quickly, you know, be it dry or wet, snow, ice, if you have to come to a panic stop and you want a tire that's going to provide you one of the best shortest stopping distance. That's all. All right, these Chinese tires aren't going to grip that well. They're going to probably add 10 feet or more to your stopping distance, and that can be the difference between running the back of someone or, you know, minimizing some damage. I've been there. I'm not going to tell you that I've been perfect. I always ran, you know, name brand tires. At one point in my life, I thought it didn't matter as long as the tread pattern looks good. Is a good tire. It was until I put something on, and it wasn't even that bad of a tire, but it was a budget-friendly tire. It was a different brand. It's not a bad tire, but it wasn't as good as what the car came with, and it was a high-performance car. I noticed a lot of ABS intervention during, you know, high-performance driving. I noticed a lot of traction control intervention, and when I went to a different car, different all-season, snow performance was horrible. Absolutely horrible. It was embarrassed to have that tire rated as an all season. But probably, I'm gonna say the most important part is failures in the zone. All right, you don't hear about Michelin tires falling apart on the road. All right, and I'm sure you guys heard about Firestone having issues. years ago, back in the 90s with the Ford Explorer, the Firestone tires. You don't hear about that anymore ever since that. Tire companies have really tightened down the regulations. Aside from the Chinese manufacturers, they still have those issues. And I'm gonna tell you something. A tire failure is deadlier than distracted driving. Now, I hate distracted driving. That upsets me more than anything when I see someone on the phone driving and not paying attention to what they're doing. So you think about that. I don't mean driving 70 miles an hour and have my tire delaminate and I have no control, because once that tire goes, your steering, your braking is now compromised. So think about that, guys. I hope you guys stay safe and make a good choice. I personally have been stuck on the Michelin thing, and that's just my personal choice. And that started way back when I had a motorcycle, Kawasaki Ninja ZX14. It came on the factory with the Bridgestone Battle Axe tires. And I remember upgrading to a Michelin tire for that bike. It was a Michelin Pilot Power 2CT. And with that 2CT, it was a different compound, basically allowed me to have a thicker compound for a more straight line and then a more different compound for cornering. I was so impressed with that tire. I was like, wow, there's a lot of engineering that goes behind tires. And I investigated more and I was really impressed with just engineering. And I've been stuck with now trying to find what is the best tire for my car, or what's best. Now, when you look at this tire, this is a Michelin Pilot Super Sport tire. It has a star on it. It means this BMW has engineered this tire for this vehicle specifically. Now, I could buy a Michelin Pilot Super Sport tire that does have a star on it, and I could put it on, my Honda Civic, for example. But it won't be the same engineering for that Civic because they don't make that tire for that car. But it'll be a good performing tire, but there's different engineering that goes behind designing a tire. And we're not saying this because if I buy a Pilot Sport 4S, and if you notice, Chevrolet and Michelin work together to develop a run flat Pilot Sport 4S for the C8 Corvette. And those run flats are specific to that vehicle. So if I would put that on my M3, even though I can run a 4S, it won't be the same handling response. All right, guys. Hopefully I didn't ramble not too much, but if you enjoyed the video, if you want to hear more stuff, give me a thumbs up, give me a like, stuff like that. All right, guys. I'll see you in the next video. All right, guys. I admit I can't do a video like this and not feel like I give you guys information of what to do, because it's easy to talk about what tires to buy and but without showing advice. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna do a little screen recording. We're going to start off. I'm gonna show you if I was shopping for a tire for every budget. So I like personally either Tire Rack or Discount Tire. Now if you're on the West Coast, Discount Tire is called America's Tire. But also you can order from Discount Tire direct. Sometimes you can find more selection that way. Like I said, this is called Discount Tire. We're else up California on the West Coast. So we're gonna go here, we're gonna shop. And I'm going to look for a vehicle. Let's say I have a 2015 BMW X5 35i. Let's do that. X5 X-Drive is a 35i and 20-inch wheels. Looking for tires. Find tires. Let's shop all tires. So what I go through is I look and see. Obviously it's showing the OEM tire, which is the Pirelli. And you look at the total price, it is $1,300. That's a lot of money, especially, for someone who doesn't really want to spend that much money on this car. Say, for example, just a family vehicle and you're not looking for the best. Now, look a little cheaper. There's Michelin Pilot Sport All Season 4. That would be my personal choice as far as getting a good all season, because I'm glad they're making all season this tire, as a good all season has good, decent grip. But I'm gonna be a little biased towards. Now let's say my budget, I can't spend $1,100. Well, if my budget's like 800 bucks, the Toyo Proxy's still a good tire. I would probably go for that one. Again, you look at these Pirellis, super expensive. You have the winter tire, or another winter tire, the Yokohama Blue Earth. I run these personally on my second set of wheels. They do decently well. So if you do want winter tires, now's the time to buy them, as opposed to waiting until winter time. So, Motivo, 900 bucks. I'll probably go spend a little bit more with the Michelin personally. Same thing for this NT. I don't know, that's still probably a good tire. Probably has a nice aggressive looking tread pattern. I don't know, I may consider that one too. But when you go for a summer tire, you're gonna look for that life that it's not gonna have. So you gotta be careful of, you know, okay, the tire looks good, but how long will it last me? And that's all I have for that. So let's check Tire Rack. Let's see what Tire Rack has to offer. All right, so here with Tire Rack, see what they have. Tire Rack, it looks like they're going to have a, see, 35i. Let's say we don't have an M Sport. Let's say our tires are non-staggered. We just have a base model. Continental, saying this is probably the best seller. You have a lot more selection with 18-inch tires. And with the squared setup, you're looking at the price of one tire. Cooper, decent tire. Let's see what the decent, let me see what the price is. $719. I'll probably look elsewhere. I don't think I would get, not that anything's bad about Cooper, but for somebody with these tires, they're looking for the smoothest, quietest ride. So I would probably go for Michelin. That's too much money. I wouldn't go for that one. This one. I think this is the best all-around tire. The String Contact DWS06 is probably the best one I would get. For the set of 4, 887, you should get around 50, 60,000 miles out of this tire, which means it's that expense that if you don't drive a crazy amount of miles, it should last you about at least 4 years or so. Now let's say we don't have a base model. Let's say we have a luxury line. And let's sort this by price, lowest to highest. This Loft, no, I wouldn't do this one. Don't know anything about that tire. Obviously not. What I do for this Sumitomo tires. It says ultra high performance all season. The tread looks good. $691. Of course, factor in install. You can probably add another 150 bucks for an install and mount. So even though you're probably looking for like the 800 bucks out the door. Obviously we can go for, you know, the General, the Firestones. The price starts going up from there. And there's, I mean, these, so you're looking at probably the bottom line at around about 700 to 800 bucks. Sometimes you can play on these sales, wait for like Memorial Day that just passed. You can probably get better sales if you can hold off. I guess I save about 100 bucks or so, or mailing rebates is always a good one to knock the price down. But also too, when you drive a car like this, you're not going to be able to spend 300 or 400 bucks on a set of tires and want, you know, the great performance. You know, it's kind of like you get what you pay for. So if you have an M, maybe an XXM or X5M, this is probably the best one you're going to get is this Michelin Pilot Super Sport. And it says a set of 4 is going to be 1,500 bucks. That's pretty expensive. There's a mill rebate of $70 that you can get from that. or you can go for run flat. If you want run flats, the Pirelli P0 run flat is, again, it's going to be almost $2,000. I wouldn't be able to do that for the sake of the run flat. I think I just take my chances, plug the tire. And of course you have a winter option. And then there's this option, the Dunlop SP More. Let's see how much cheaper that is. So compared to this, yeah, it's actually more expensive. So I think the better performance tire, the best bang for your buck, is the Pilot Super Sport. But if you had a 20-inch wheels, what option do you have? So let's go for that. Let's say you got the 20s. One option if you have 20-inch wheels is the Pirelli P0. Look at the price on these. $1,800. All right. Guys, that's a lot. All right, guys, thanks for watching.